Alright, so I apologize for the garbage audio and being quiet in advance. I'm going to try not to bump the camera so it doesn't make any horrendous noises, but I figured I should start, recording the process here, considering I just started on this. So, the only thing I've done so far, aside from, knowing that the engine's probably junk and needs to go and that kind of thing, I pulled the plastics off, or this part of the plastics. Seat's relatively simple, it's a seat. This center plastic, unless you have the very front, there's 2 bolts here into the tank. The back here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts right there. So, pretty much the next thing here, I just rolled it up onto a ramp. I'm just going to lift this side and throw the back under a ramp so I can see what I'm doing under here. I loosened the exhaust and everything's loose on it. This needs to come undone for it to be able to come off, and it doesn't want to slide apart, so that's going to be fun. I don't know how I'm going to get that apart. So, go ahead and tip this guy. Yeah, I mean, not quite what I wanted, but getting there. There we go. So, I wanted that so I can see what's going on with the engine mounts here and where we need to be. We need to unbolt rather. So, it's looking like 1, 2, and 3. I'm also going to have to disconnect the tank to make this easier. Take the carb and all that fun stuff off. Pulling the air box off. I don't know if that's going to make it any easier or not, so I might avoid doing that. So, I guess the next step in this whole process is just yanking the engine out. And if I'm going that far, I'm going to see how it looks. If it looks bad enough, I might tear a few more pieces off and try cleaning the frame up. So, we're going to see what this looks like. So, it's literally been 30 seconds, this is the last clip, but there's plenty of PB Blaster on here. I just started wiggling it, and it looks like it's actually going to come off. Oh, there it is. One piece. 2 piece. It's literally just this ring and 2 bolts to hold it onto the head. So, exhaust is off now. It's not ideal, but one of these are going to work. It's relatively small, so we're going to start down here at the 5. If I can quit throwing things. Smaller than a 5. Bigger than a 4, I wouldn't be surprised. Bigger than a 4. Okay. So, take these guys out. I'm going to start. These are brand new. Can't even get them out of the thing. Come on. Jesus. In there. Alright, so we're going to start with that guy. Too small. So, it's going to be the one that I can't get out. Right? Yeah, okay. Perfect. So it is a 3/16 hex head. Allen head, whatever. Alright, so I'm going to get these 2 out. There's one on either side, and then I'll be right back. So, to quickly explain the story behind this thing, how I ended up with it. was looking for one of these because I like how they look and it's draining more fuel, so we're just gonna let it show here for a second. Maybe. Unless I can figure out how to shut that off again. Come on. So, I really like how the front rack looks on these bikes, so I wanted to buy one. And I did had one. Said it ran, had just kind of needed a few things. So, and of course, you know, he rebuilt it, what have you, or supposedly rebuilt it, and I ended up with it. And threw some money at it, put new tires on it, new cables, handful of other things, and figured out running issues wise. Got it running, and then after I rode it a little bit, it went. So, bit the dust. So now what I have for it, is that even freaking off? Why is it dripping? It was off. It must have been off. Okay, whatever. But, got it for relatively cheap. I mean, I would have liked to have paid less considering the issues we've had with it. But overall, I don't think I did terribly on it. But yeah, it ended up having running issues. So I tried to fix them and ended up with the bike giving me more issues. So 225DX over there, that's what I'm throwing in it. So it'll be a little bit bigger of an engine because this is a stock engine. And then we'll see what happens. I kind of wanted to sell it so I had money to throw at other projects. But here we are. So I think we're going to end up just fixing it and seeing, maybe riding it for a bit and then seeing what I can get out of it. So airbox, 2 bolts, one here, or I'm sorry, not there, one here and one here, right there, hidden under those wires. And then you take all this junk off, it connects down here. I don't know exactly where it's supposed to. There's a tiny box that bolts in somewhere down here. I don't know, mine wasn't connected, so not worried about it. Then we gotta pull the carburetor off, which consists of 2 bolts, which I have replaced. Or at least I replaced the nuts because they were kind of grody. So pull it off, and I am simply going to pull it off to make life a little bit easier. Okay, the next step, after we get everything disconnected, is obviously yanking the engine out. So, part of doing that is getting the whole everything off. And then I know some of the wiring is questionable, so I'm going to look at all of that while the engine is out, or as I'm pulling it out, or whatever the case may be. So we're going to go ahead. The next things that need to come out for all of this to work is obviously this gets disconnected like I'm doing. And then what we have to look at, carburetor gets pulled off, which it should be free to move now. It is. There is 2 lines. There's the throttle cable and then there's your choke cable. Both of those come off, which I will show you exactly how to do that. One of them is this little guy here. It just screws off and the whole thing gets pulled out, which kind of sucks because it's just going to dangle here. But the whole slide and that front assembly all comes out. Needle and that. As for this guy, which this, if I'm not mistaken, is your throttle cable. Yes. So this is what should be the choke cable. There's a little nut that goes around it. You unscrew it and it just slides right up out. So I went ahead and tore the front plastic off just because I feel like it might make life easier. I don't really think I have to mess with anything up there. Mess with anything that's up there. But I did it anyways. Why not, right? So I've got 2 of the mount bolts out. There's one here There's one under here that I have out. They are 12 on both sides. There's one here and up top here that it's 12 on one side, and then the head of the bolt, or not this side, but the head of the bolt is 12, and then the nut on the other side is 14. Why it is that way, I'm not sure. I have them loosened-ish. I have to figure out before I can actually yank the engine out. The only thing I should have to figure out, I disconnected the wires. I might have to disconnect the starter, but it's just the shaft itself, and how the hell you take that apart, because I have no idea. So I'm going to have to figure that out, and then we will be yanking the engine out.